Hey y'all, I'm back with my March 2023 reading wrap up. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Books with Kimberly. Don't forget to like, comment, share my channel, and subscribe. Y'all, today I'm getting into the books that I read during the month of March. March is Women's History Month, so I really made it a point to read books by women, and not just books by women, books by Black women. So let's get into the 4 books that I read during the month of March. The first book I listened to in the month of March was Black Candle Women by Diane Marie Brown. This book was really interesting. It is about the Montrose women who are originally from New Orleans, but they are living in California. And these women practice hoodoo. And the biggest thing about this family is that there is a curse that any man who falls in love with one of the Montrose women is going to die. So when Nikki, who is the youngest of the Montrose women, brings home a guy she likes from school, the whole family gets into a tizzy. It's a lot going on about this curse that we don't really know if it's real. We also don't really know if this hoodoo magic is real or not. That was one of the things that I kind of felt going through this story. When you say black candle magic, I was thinking like straight up witches. Like I wanted to see spells, people levitating, all kinds of stuff, chants, seances with the spirits. I was looking for all that dark magic, but that's the thing. This is not dark magic. I haven't really researched what hoodoo is, but hoodoo is very different. It's a lot more spiritual based, and it's a lot of herbs and remedies that you put this under your pillow and this will happen. And a lot of the stuff seems like, hey, I think that would have happened anyway. I think fate played a part in a lot of those spells working, but it all depends on if the clients are believing in it or not. I give this book 4 stars. I really enjoyed learning about the Montrose women. There was Nana Augusta, who's the matriarch. She has a daughter named Madeline, who is the mother of Victoria and Willow, and seeing their dynamic with their mother who gave them up when they were young to their grandmother, Nana Augusta. And then you have Nikki, who's the daughter of Victoria. So you have all these generation of Montrose women who are dealing with this curse, who are living under one roof, and all the bickering. I loved all of it. What I didn't like about this story was that I just really wanted hoodoo to be amped up. Like if this story is called Black Candle Women, I'm really expecting it to be heavy in magic. And maybe that's my personal issue, is that I did not do my research to see that hoodoo is different from magic. But even if it isn't, I want it to be heavier on the hoodoo. Give us the history of hoodoo. I think the plot could have had some tweaking. There were some relationships forming that weren't really developed, but you just got the end of what happened. And then just the whole plot thing. The biggest plot point being this curse. I just felt like it wasn't as big of an inciting incident as it could have been. I would have liked to see more subplots within this story. But overall, I still thought it was pretty good. The second book, I was so excited, y'all, about this one. It is Blood Like Fate by Liselle Sambury. The interesting thing about this book is I listened to the first book, Blood Like Magic, in March 2022, and I felt led to listen to the second book in March 2023. So I did not do that on purpose. I just happened to be looking up my notes from the first book, and I was like, I read this last March, and now in this March I'm reading the second book. Blood Like Magic is about a family of witches, and so Blood Like Fate, we pick right up where Voya is now fully a witch, and she is the matriarch of the Thomas family. She has 2 gifts she's trying to figure out. She got a lot she's trying to juggle right now. A lot of things going on. A lot of family dynamics are happening in this second book. I will go ahead and start off by saying I thought this second book was way better than the first one. The first one was just information overload. character overload. So this book was a lot cleaner. It did go into some of the family members had different subplots, but it wasn't every single one. In the second book, we find out that Voya has a vision of witches dying, and something serious is happening to the community of witches in Toronto, Canada, where this book takes place. And so Voya is forming a council of all the matriarchs of the witch families to get them to come together, put their resources, their talents, their information together so they can figure out what is going on with witches. Why are witches becoming sick? And not only are these witches becoming sick, but their powers are being amplified. So if your power is to deal with fire, that fire that you used to could do a little flicker, it is now burning down an entire house. And sores are coming on witches, and so they're trying to get to the bottom of what is going on. And Voya is in the middle of everything because she's trying to get everybody to take her serious as a teenager, as a teenage matriarch. And a lot of people are doubting her capabilities, and she's doubting herself. So I thought this was really good character development to see Voya coming into her own and really becoming responsible and really showing up for her family in a strong way. But also in this book, she has to learn to not only be a leader, but to also lean on her family members for help. I thought this book was great. I gave it 4 stars. The only thing that kept me from giving it 5, I really wanted to give it 5 stars, but there was a little plot twist at the end that just really did not make sense to me. It needed more development. I needed more breadcrumbs. If you're going to villainize somebody, I need breadcrumbs. I need more clues that lead to, oh, that's why he did what he did. And I felt like that element was missing, and so that is why I give this book 4 stars. But I wish that there was a third one. But this one wrapped up, so I'm really thinking this was a duology, and so there won't be a third book in this series. The third book I read in the month of March was Princess of Zamimbia by Delaney. I didn't really like this book. I'ma just say it. I gave it 2 stars. I thought it was very boring. It had a really good premise. The book starts off where like this prince, he returns to Atlanta because he finds out that the girlfriend that he had in the U.S., she's living in Atlanta with a 3-year-old, and the 3-year-old is the spitting image of him. So he's come to reclaim the son, and then she's like, no, don't take my son, don't take my son. And he's like, well, the only way that you can come with the son and me back to the Zamimbia country in Africa, you have to marry me and become my queen. One minute they don't like each other, he don't trust her, she's mad at him, is trying to figure out how she can take the son and run off somewhere, but his security guards is on her. She cannot escape, so she ends up agreeing to moving to Africa and becoming his queen. And she falls right back in love with him. I don't think they ever fell out of love, but I just needed more conflict. I needed more push and pull. I needed more resistance. The book was boring. I think the narration wasn't really good. The flow wasn't really good. So I really didn't enjoy this book. And so I give it 2 stars. The last book I read in the month of March was Goal by Alexandria House. This is actually a new book, and I think she has a series coming out about like some hockey players. You know, sis likes a series about some fine athletes and how these fine athletes be finding love and a whole lot of steaminess, but I'm not mad at her. This book starts off with Malik Jones, who is a hockey player. He becomes engaged to his fiancée, Tasha. He's not in love with her, but they've been together for like 7 years. She was his first. They met in college. She done held him down, but he really not in love with her. So out of the blue, he gets a call from child services that he has 2 siblings that he needs to come pick up, or they're going to go to foster care because his dad, who he had not seen since he was like 14, has passed away. The mother of the children passed away, and now they need a home. Even though he has never met these siblings, does not know anything about these siblings, he goes and picks them up and brings them to live with him. Tasha has an issue with it. Tasha, not wanting to deal with these kids, she hires a nanny named Nuri. Tasha hires Nuri thinking because she's a plus size woman that she won't snatch her man, but that is exactly what Nuri does in this book. And this book just had a lot of steaminess in it. They talked about mental health. I give this book 4 stars. What kept me from giving it 5 stars is Nuri really hadn't had a lot of relationship experience, and neither had Malik other than Tasha. So I just would have really loved the author to kind of give them that typical romance of going on dates, getting flowers. I mean, he did buy her an apartment and he bought her a car. So, I mean, the city girl part of me absolutely loved that part of it. But I think that Nuri was such a sweet girl. She was so good with the kids. She deserves to be swept off her feet with like flowers and dates and taking on trips and vacations. So I just really wanted that aspect in this book. And I'm going to always take off if I don't get that just beautiful romance like at a top tier level. Those are the books that I read in the month of March. Get down in the comments and let me know what you're currently reading, what books you read in March. And thanks again for tuning in to a Books with Kimberly video.